All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So we're 4 practices in New York Jets training camp, and we have seen 4 days of sheer dominance from Carl Lawson. Newly acquired edge rusher Carl Lawson, okay? I'm talking multiple sacks, multiple pressures, and he's going up against one of the best left tackles in the National Football League, Becton. That's not a stretch to say anymore. So, actually, real quick, before we dive into Lawson, I do want to give a quick special shout out to all of the Jets fans that were able to attend today's practice. I mean, how awesome is that? Coming off of a 2-14 season. Every single practice open to the public sells out on the first day. Are you kidding me? That's like the literal definition of being a diehard fan. Absolutely amazing. So when we're taking a look at Carl Lawson, I truly felt like from an individual standpoint, the stars kind of aligned for Lawson this offseason. I mean, he was able to sign a pretty big multi-year contract with the Jets. He's stepping into a defense that really fits his skill set, that'll maximize what he's good at. He was able to pair up with a defensive-minded head coach in Robert Saleh, who's well known across the league for getting production out of the defensive line, specifically the edge rusher position. Whether you're a top pick like a Nick Bosa, whether you popped up out of nowhere like a Kerry Hyder, a Ronald Blair, who coincidentally is on the New York Jets roster, you always seem to get a little bit better every single year. You're never taking steps backwards. Your play, your production always seems to elevate. And that's what's really interesting about this whole thing, because then when you start taking a look at Carl Lawson from a personal standpoint, size, 6'2", 265, speed, power, overall strength, how he looks in the run game, how he looks in the getting after passers. I mean, this guy has shown an ability to get in the backfield time and time again. 32 quarterback hits last year. That is nothing to scoff at. That number is that's an elite number. That is an elite number. To kind of put it in perspective, and we kind of talked about this before, I felt like one of the premier pass rushers on the market was Yannick Ngakoue. You take a look at what Yannick did last year in the quarterback hits department, and the year before that, you add them together, that still does not equal 32. So it goes to show Carl Lawson can beat tackles. He has the potential to, and he has the size and speed to beat tackles consistently. I think, and given his age, 26 years old, so he still has room to grow. He's kind of entering his prime now, considering he's in this new 4-3 defense with the New York Jets, a system that will let Lawson shine. You're giving him talent on the interior, Quinnen Williams, Fudikasi, Sheldon Rankins. I mean, this defensive line is stacked. It is loaded with talent. So yes, Carl Lawson does have a lot of expectations. He is walking in as the team's premier pass rusher, the number 1 edge guy on the team. He's expected to get after the passer, but I fully expect Lawson to take that next step as a pass rusher in the league. Now, of course, I'm not demanding 18, 17, 16 sacks per year. Anything short of that is a failure. No, not in the least. But I do feel like Lawson will continue to grow as a player, because the reality of the situation is that Carl Lawson literally has everything working with him in his favor. Size, speed, power, experience, system fit, coaching staff, personnel, everything is there. Age, entering his prime. Everything is there for Carl Lawson to continue to get better. Now, let's be realistic for a second. If Carl Lawson, let's just say he's the exact same player, he doesn't get any better at all. He's just the same exact player that he was in Cincinnati. It's still a huge upgrade over what we currently had last year, the season before that. So I feel like whatever happens, the Jets are in great hands with Lawson as that number 1 premier pass rusher. Last point I did want to make, you have to take a look at Lawson's motor as well. I feel like that's, obviously it doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but going back to Auburn, looking at what he did in Cincinnati, this guy was a relentless pass rusher. He never took plays off. He never just, pulled an Albert Hainsworth and just laid on the ground and pretended like he was down and trying to get up. No, this guy was consistently trying to attack the football, attack the ball carrier, attack the quarterback, and that's what you love. And Robert Saleh has actually made that a point. And it's funny because you can kind of see a common theme with a lot of these draft picks, a lot of the free agent signings. These guys love football. They love flying around the field, making an impact. And you see how Robert Saleh reacts on the sidelines, always, I don't want to say freaking out, but just really amped, really excited. He brings the energy, and I feel like he really wants players to kind of reflect that on the field as well, and Lawson brings that. Lawson will bring the energy. He will get people amped up. So, and real quick, I do want to mention this as well. When we're projecting into the future, I feel like the year 2022, not this upcoming season, but the year after, that is the year where Lawson has a potential to go get 13, 14, maybe even 15 sacks. I don't think that's crazy to say given the Jets cap situation, given that Lawson would have a year under his belt in the Robert Saleh system, given that, again, he already has all the things that we already talked about. But I feel like whether the Jets go out and draft a guy like Thibodeau out of Oregon, sign a guy, trade for a player, and now all of a sudden we're looking at the defensive line. We already have the interior help. Lawson's going to do his thing, and now we're adding another premier pass rusher on the outside. I feel like Lawson could have a great Jets career, but I am kind of getting ahead of myself at this point. So anyway, I'll leave it there. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below about Carl Lawson, how he's looked so far at training camp. I mean, I'm not surprised, not shocked at all, not in the least. I'm really excited. The only downside about training camp is whenever you have a player doing really well, and it's not a joint practice situation, you have to look across the line of scrimmage and see who he's going up against. In this case, it's Mekhi Becton, but not a big deal at all. Mekhi Becton's one of the best tackles in the league, and we talked about that before. Just a great overall player in the run game and pass pro. So young, so big, so menacing. A guy who already had, in 1 year, already has so much experience, so much good tape out there. So the best is yet to come for both of those players. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, go Jets.